What's going on, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Egg Wars. I hope you're all doing very, very well. No, it didn't get one out yesterday. Stuff came up. And today's the big day. Today's the big surgery day. I got that coming up in several hours here. But I'm doing my Egg Wars right now, so I'm glad you're all with me today on this special day. You know what? Got a package yesterday in the mail, some fan mail. The Review Bra sweatshirt. And today, we're going to be talking about a certain topic that has me all swagged out about. So we got the Review Bra shirt on, and we got the Cuban on, and I got the Cuban. I got the shirt down. You dig what I'm saying? You smell me? I got the Cuban around Review Bra's neck. I got the Cuban around my neck. I got these nice Target sunglasses that are extremely smudged. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, baby. Anyway. First things first, shout out to everybody for tuning in. Much love to you, much support, much appreciation. You're the best, you're awesome, couldn't do it without you. I do want you to take that to heart and remember that because I'm serious. Don't forget that, okay? I'm telling you. But of course, we gotta make sure we're letting who is the big winner today of the copy of Neckbeards, from Egg Wars 35 now. Gosh darn, that's 35 episodes. This is 36 today. Spooky Chair Skeletal with the comment, Eggy, that thumbnail is Aryan as fuck. Congratulations to Spooky Chair Skeletal. Let me know your Steam information if I have you on Steam already. I know you've been around for a while, so I might have you on there already. You can just hit me up on Steam or your YouTube comments or whatever, and I'm going to get you that copy of Neckbeards. Everybody else, make sure you're smashing the motherfucking like button, dropping that comment if you want a chance to win as well, or just whatever. Just do what you want to do, man. It's a free country if you live in America. Oh, hey-oh. Anyway, and I want to give a shout out. We have had a couple birthdays in the last week that I'm aware of. First one I know for sure of was Mohmj, M-O-H-M-J. You might know them. Birthday recently, so shout out to Mohmj. And also shout out to OK, had a birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to you guys. My birthday is exactly 4 weeks from today. I am gonna be fucking even older. Gosh, I'm so old and decrepit and absolutely sickening. Oh, man. Anyway, so what are we talking about today? You know, today we're gonna be discussing something that I've never really discussed before, and we're just gonna get right into it. Of course, we got the sip on deck, another one of the real deal sips, none of that imitation, none of that fraudulation, real deal sip today. And I considered, today we're going to be talking about rap music. And I don't want to say that because some people are going to immediately close this window right now. They're going to be like, oh, fuck all that. We're going to talk about music. We had the artistry episode of Egg Wars where I'm talking about drawing and I'm talking about animation and that sort of thing. But we're going to be talking about, music today and dancing today because people were so oh fuck no. Oh no, what am I doing? I don't own this for real. This was a joke. Somebody sent this to me as a joke. It's a Black Lives Matter pin, but we're already too far into it. I'm not gonna, if I wanted to make that joke, I could have done it already, but we're doing the black sip today because I don't want to be a cultural appropriator, wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to offend somebody, so we gotta include some diversity. I'm gonna take some diversity to the system right now. Cheers, my friends. I can't remember I don't even know if I even had this one yet, actually. I'm not really sure what to make of this flavor, to be honest. It's, I'm not really sure how I feel about that quite yet. Maybe it'll grow on me a little bit. So anyways, yes, we're going to talk about music today. So let's start right from the very beginning. So, and you know what? I don't know how people feel about the shades. Maybe they're cool, maybe they're not. But I like to have a direct beam on the camera. I like to really get in there, so I'm gonna drop that. So my very first real musical experience was when I was in elementary school. Funny story about that. My elementary school actually shut down the year after I got out of my elementary school and went to junior high. We were the final class of my elementary school. And so what happened was, and I'm pretty sure it was our fifth grade year, which was our final year of elementary school. maybe 4th grade. Gosh, I really can't remember 100% for sure. But whatever the case was, they basically had these programs at the time where it was like, once you got into junior high, that's when there was real band. Excuse me. I know some people don't like that. I apologize. In junior high, you got the real band experience. You had the brass and the woodwinds and everything, the strings, all that. But they had something with our elementary school where they had like a select people could apply and get, like a little bit of prior experience. And so, I'm not really exactly sure why I chose the instrument I did, but I took part in this essentially pre-band music program where I chose to play the violin. Now, I really enjoyed playing the violin. I played some pretty decent pieces. Actually, I can't remember. I'm trying to think. Maybe we did still have it in our first year of junior high, because I do recall I did play a violin piece of a symphony on stage at a local theater at some point, and I don't believe they would have had that when I was in elementary school. So maybe perhaps they did have it initially in my 6th grade year. But anyways, I was playing the violin, and I was very pleased with that instrument. I kind of had this like weird autistic tick when I was playing it, where like the vibrations of the strings and everything, as I would set my chin on it, it would kind of fuck with me a little bit, because like the vibrations would make me feel all weird, would make me want to like grind my teeth. When I was a kid, I had this tendency to kind of grind my teeth anyway. I don't know. I just had all kinds of mental goofs, growing up. But so, anyways, I got into orchestra, and there was some pre-band things that other kids did that were, like some of the normal stuff. There was that ended up still being included. But in any case, once I was in junior high, they had budget issues, and they said, well, we're gonna have to cut a few instruments, because obviously we're not gonna cut band, but we're going to basically kind of draw it down a little bit, cut the fat, so to speak. And apparently violin was the fat. And Sam Hyde hasn't released this video yet, but there was me and one other girl that I could remember that both played violin and both got cut. And this chick's name was Emily. And in this video I did with Sam, if this EggWars ever comes out, I'm not sure, what the status of that is, but I mentioned her in that video as well about when I was in high school. I sat behind this chick in one of my classes, and she always wore the most ill-fitting pants. So, like, legit, her entire ass cheeks would be hanging out. Like, I sat behind her in class, and I was sitting behind her or whatever, and like, we had like the desk chairs or whatever. It was like, boom, piece of chair, and then like, the bars, and then like the seat. So like in this like empty space, like you could see pretty much her entire ass hanging out. Like it was pretty bad. Like I've seen some chicks with like ill-fitting pants, you see like some butt crack. No, like she had like legit like full cheek exposure. It was ridiculous. But it was still pretty hot though at the time, and then, but I ended up getting moved because I was basically fucking creeping all on her and shit, and she like complained to the teacher. She's like, he's looking at me, he's a fucking creep! And I'm like, yeah, I am, I'm not gonna lie. And so the teacher's like, you fucking piece of shit, you get up here in the front row where I can see you at, you fucking piece of shit, you fucking little creepy fucker! And that was the end of that. So anyways, yeah, but she was when we were in junior high, she was the other violin, and we both got cut from that shit. Now, so that basically went kaput. That was kapoosh. So I was mid-junior high, and I'm like, gosh, I really enjoyed that. Now I don't have any really, there was this other somewhat extracurricular thing I did, which was like an after-school program when I was in junior high, and I don't really remember what the hell it was even about at this point, but it was basically like, it was just like smart kid after school program where like we would go and we would talk about random like factoids and stuff. It was pretty cool. I remember they gave us like a candy bar and like a milk carton or whatever to like chill and just talk about bullshit. So that was pretty cool. But I ended up, since I didn't have the orchestra, that thing anymore, I decided, I'd always been into dance. Like, ever since I was a very, very young child, I was very much into dance, I mean, that's probably like a lot of my relatives who are older. That's like their first memory of me. Like when they saw me when I was like 2 years old, 3 years old, I would just sit around and just fucking like dance. I would just like, be like doing this. Like, it didn't even matter. It didn't matter what the fuck was even going on. Like, I would just go and just dance. And like, I would watch music videos on TV all day. Although I wasn't watching like VH1. I was usually watching like country music, so I wasn't seeing like Michael Jackson. I wasn't seeing any funky, fresh moves that were, funkadelic and, the robot or whatever, So I didn't really have any moves to pull, but I would just kind of just, do some shit like this, So I was into that forever, but then when I believe it was my midpoint in junior high, because there was this chick that that was in this dance class with me that I ended up taking this dance class, and there was a chick in there who was a real bitch. She was such a bitch, and I always have like this weird attraction to women who are just like really like, I don't want to go all anime weeb on you guys or anything, but tsundere or tsundere, where like the chick wants to like fucking knock your lights out. That's why this chick is my waifu, That's why I own multiple waifu figurines of this anime characters, because that's exactly the type of person that she is. But anyway, I went and took this dance class. And I'm like, I've always liked dancing, so hey, you know what? It just obviously makes sense that I should take a dance class. Now, me going into this, of course I'm getting the reassurance that it's not homosexual when it obviously is extremely homosexual for a man to be doing this. They're like, football players do ballet, football players do dance, it's like, it's a good thing to do, it's good for you. So I go and I take this dance class, and I'm the only guy there. I didn't even have, maybe it's because I was growing up in a smaller town. There wasn't a lot of gays around initially. It became a cool thing to where everybody wanted to be gay. And nowadays it's crazy how like that, everybody wants to be like, everybody's something, But it wasn't quite like this back, in the early 2000s at this point. So I was the only guy there, and but it was pretty wild. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love to dance. That's how I just broke my foot. Go ask Pizza. Go ask these people who I was hanging out with when I broke my foot. I was going harder than a motherfucker because that's just how I do. I was doing all kinds of crazy moves. And of course, if you've seen my streams, I've done the longest dance session I've done on a live stream was over 3 hours, I do believe. It was either 2.5 or 3 hours. I can't exactly recall 100% at this point, but it was like 2.5, 3 hours in one of my streams I did. And that got me a lot of, attention at the time. I'm not that necessarily that's what I was looking for, because I just like to dance, put some music on, I like to dance, But I had a great time with it, I wasn't spectacular, but I actually wasn't really too bad, I guess that's been one of my, people can always develop certain abilities. People can always develop certain things in their life to start from like a mediocre level and get really, really, good as time goes on. But I feel like I've always had some rhythm in a way. So that was pretty, I did pretty decent at that. But then, I did that, but I decided not to go back for another year just because I did feel a little bit uncomfortable about the fact that I was the only guy in this dance class. So now we're in 8th grade. Everybody that's doing some shit has been doing it since, they were, either at least 6th grade. So, people are doing their extracurriculars and all this stuff, and I'm still basically coming up on 8th grade, and I don't got shit, you know what I mean? I'm all, I'm like, well, I wanted to play violin, couldn't do that, they took it away from me, Dance class, it just feels awkward. I'm with, younger girls, and there's no guys, I'm the only guy. It just feels really weird. I'm anxious about it. I don't feel comfortable with it. But in 8th grade, I decided that I just, I needed to find, what could I do? What could I do that for sure was going to, really be something? And it came to me, I said, you know what? I'm going to play the piano, because my grandmother owned a piano, and she owned a keyboard too, but she owned one of these Casio keyboards or something. I can't even remember what the fuck it was all about, but you would go and you could it was my first, I don't even remember why she bought it, honestly. I really don't know what purpose she had for this, because she had a nice piano, but she bought this little keyboard where you could set, keys to play his guitar, or the keys to play his drums or whatever. So I was going on this piano and just being making cool noises. I'm like, oh, cool, I could do, this guitar noise with it. I'm thinking that's the coolest, hottest business. And then she had sheet music, so I was sitting around playing hot cross buns and da-da-da, whatever. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get to it. I'm going to start learning piano. And so I did. I started learning piano at this time. And to be honest, I was just really, really disorganized and inconsistent with learning piano. I think I definitely could have done better. I think, I've never been somebody, I have a pretty decent, maybe it's from spending way too much time on the computer over the years, but I find myself to have a pretty decent, pretty decent skills with the fingers, no homo. I feel like I'm pretty decent about that, but I just really lacked discipline, especially at this time, because this late junior high, early high school, this is when I was doing really bad. This is when I was failing my first classes ever. I was feeling like shit. This is when I got diagnosed as autistic and retarded. So I was in the special education classes. I just was not feeling good about myself. I just didn't have the spirit in me to really continue and pursue and all that. Unfortunately, I didn't have it in me, so I kind of just let it burn out. I kind of just stopped practicing. I had my own sheet music. I was doing all good by myself. I was I was getting a good grasp on it, but I just couldn't stick with it. It was, unfortunate. But before we go further in that direction, I'm going to dial it back a little bit now. We're going to talk, what the hell, how did somebody like me, who is considered to be kind of this super autistic dweeb, where did you, what's the deal with the rap shit? What is egg white? Why is there egg white? What the hell is the deal with that? So let me give you a little bit of background. So really, I would say, my first real contact with rap music is probably similar to most Caucasian individuals. I'm sorry, I got a little bit of allergies going on right now. In the late 90s, I was listening to some Tupac Shakur. I was listening to some Notorious B.I.G. I was listening to some DMX, actually, because I don't know, I don't remember how the fuck I got introduced to DMX, but I thought that was just the fucking, I thought that was just the most pumped up shit, and I still do. You can't fucking tell me, you put on some of that DMX, that shit, that's just some fucking straight up hype music. He's got some, that good, what's that one, baby, it's gonna be okay. I really miss you, and baby, it's gonna be okay. And however that one goes, where he's talking about his grandma, that's some. I still can't listen to that shit to this day. Rest in peace to my grandmother. It really, really makes you choke up, tear up to hear that one. So I was listening to some of that at a young age, but in the late 90s, Neo-Napster. Now, I had been, I was really just getting into school when Napster was around, so that really was before my time, just by a smidge. But once I was in elementary school, the Neo-Napster was, the thing, before we had, oh god, what else? What came after Neo-Napster? We used all kinds of dumb bullshit. Kazaa, that was fucking infested with viruses. Fucking BearShare, that was infested with viruses. eDonkey, or whatever the hell it was. I used so many fucking torrenting clients in the early 2000s because there wasn't, you didn't have the information out there. It was very hearsay at that back then, But Neo-Napster was the OG shit that I was put onto, and I had it installed on my grandparents' computer because they had the dial-up internet. They had the plug on that. So I would go over there and you would just type in some shit. Really, there was a guy I went to school with that would just be like, yo, I was on Neo-Napster the other day, dude, and I looked up a funny song, and dude, this thing, oh my god, it's crazy, dude, you gotta go type in funny song, blah, 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 whatever. And however it came to be, this is something that a lot of you are probably, if you're from my era, and even not, because I still see this shit posted to this day. There was something on Neo-Napster that was a highly downloaded sound clip, and it was like, yo, 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 what it is, motherfuckers? It's Pac-Man in this bitch! Or however it goes, it's been a long time. But basically that was, it's a clip from a Bloodhound Gang album. And essentially through a little detective work at this time, we found this sound clip and it was like, oh, it's so funny, it's Pac-Man, he's high, dude, haha, funny, and Christ, this was like fucking, oh god, 18 years ago, people are still doing this shit to this day. It's wild. That's fucking insane, isn't it? But we got put onto the Bloodhound Gang through that, so then I was listening to the Bloodhound Gang, the roof is on fire, all that shit, that was just what it was back then, we used to listen to fucking Bloodhound Gang and play motherfucking Unreal Tournament and Quake and all that, that's just how it was, that's just what it was. But then, in the year 2000, things started to take a turn for the more gangster, because I got put on to the 3-6 Mafia album, The Most Known Unknowns. And I tell you, man, once heard that, oh man, that was some gangster shit. That was some, what's that one, God, it's been so long now. I should be able to fucking recite, with all the times we listened to that fucking album, I should be able to recite every goddamn word that's on that album, but I'm drawing a blank now. Anyway, so that was like, that was the first kind of starting to touch that gangster shit. So we listened to that, like, a lot. Like, a lot. And I'm trying to think, I might have become familiar with some South Park Mexican and some Baby Bash and some other shit maybe at this point too, but I wasn't super into that yet, I don't think. But that's just kind of what it was for a while, but it was still mixed in, we were still listening to like some like Elliot Rodger type music, and by that I mean like the 80s music. We dug like the whole aesthetic of the 80s music, even back 15 years ago, we were still heavy on that. We still really enjoyed that. I listened to the Eagles and Styx and motherfucking Queen, even though that's before 80s, but I don't know, I liked certain different types of music. I used to listen to I don't know, just kind of like old rock and 80s music, and then some of this gangster rap. But then I should say I'm not giving fair credence. I was gonna say 50 Cent was the next chapter in this, but really Eminem. I think Eminem was laying down some influence before 50 Cent, because obviously we could all like relate, at least the guys I grew up around, we could relate to like some of this, like, I don't know, it's hard to say because like we were kids, but at the same time, like just this whole like, coming up from like a broken environment, or like, kind of like a fractured background, and just kind of being some hellraisers and some troublemakers. And, I wasn't so much about like, it wasn't so much of an aspect at this time, but something that always drew me to rap music too was that they weren't afraid to say like, yo, fuck that bitch, fuck that hoe, fuck that trick, because I've never really had a fantastically positive opinion of women. And really, outside of rap music, there's some hard rock that would say some shit that would like, strike that chord with me. But really, rap music was just like the one I could always go back to when I was feeling like that. Yo, fuck that hoe, fuck that bitch. I could be, yeah, fuck that hoe, yeah. So yeah, I listened to Eminem a lot. It made me feel like I was all like moody and like cuckoo. I never dyed my hair though. People I knew, they did. They bleached their hair to be like Eminem. Like, nah, that wasn't me. Thank God I never went too wild like that. But Review Brow's he needs to get his shine on. There we go. Try to anyway. But then after that, yeah, it was that 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying. That was like that motivation music, that hustler music. That was some good shit. I could still go back. That's absolutely classic. Absolutely a classic album. No doubt about it. But then really after that, like after I was on like that New York shit at the time, you know what I'm saying? Like that motherfucking New York shit, you dig what I'm saying? I was on that motherfucking, on that East Coast type shit, that motherfucking 50, yeah, boy, But then I started to get introduced to, like I said before, I was vaguely familiar with like South Park Mexican and Baby Bash, but in the mid-2000s, that's when I got put on to DJ Screw. I got put on to DJ Screw and the Screw tapes, Zero, Screwed Up Click, K Reno, a lot of these guys. That's when I first got put onto that, and then when I started listening to that, I was like, whoa, that was a big game changer for me, because I listened to I listened to Houston music and UGK, all that, Fat Pat, all that, I used to listen, that's just all I wanted to listen to for the next, like, probably 2 or 3 years or so after I started listening to that music. But then I came back around again, because when I was in high school, towards the end of high school, I was listening to a lot of Nas. I owned like 3 or 4 different Nas albums I would listen to like on rotation. And also I got the album MF Grimm, American Hunger. And that's still to this day, like, to me, like, that has some incredible classic songs. It was a big influence in some of the things I like to listen to. It was just so wild, the whole story of MF Grimm. A lot of people know MF Doom these days, and I listened to him too, back, maybe before he was signed to Rhyme Sayers, or, his whatever, before Mad Villain and all that. But, MF Grimm, basically being shot so many times and, being, coming from like a gangster background to where he's shot and crippled, and, they kind of tries to turn around and be like, for the kids and for the future and trying to be all positive, that message spoke to me in a way. So that was really where I was at the time. And then once I got out of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't really have any good plans for the future. I hated school. I didn't really want to do anything more with school. I didn't want to go to college because I didn't know what I was going to do. My parents they threatened to, they're basically like, go to college or you're a loser. If you don't go to college, you're never going to do anything with your life. You're going to be a loser. You're never going anywhere. And I fought them continuously, and I said, you know what, fine. I don't need to go to college. I'm going to just do music, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't need to go to college. So I had gotten some money from for my high school graduation. I had it wasn't a ton, but it was, some. So I went online and I basically bought some basic production equipment. I bought a basic like beat pad. I went and did my research. I got, beat pad. I got studio monitors. I got my little keyboard. I got my little flash drive for my samples. And I got basically set up my own little recording studio. And I used to make my little beats. I would go on and I was influenced by, some of these New York producers like Ninth Wonder. I was influenced by, Premier. I was influenced by some foreign producers. So I would go on and usually look for like either foreign music or old music from like the 60s or 70s. And I was chopping up like some funky samples. And I thought I was putting out some good shit, I was very amateur. I didn't really know a whole lot I was doing. I was, it wasn't even so much, this was like 7 years ago or, about 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago, whatever. And they, even then there wasn't so much on YouTube. Like now on YouTube, you could just go on and be like, how to do this, and there's like a million things. Even at that point, it was still, there wasn't like that kind of information out there. So I was like looking through books, and I just, I was amateur, I didn't have like the knowledge to really make everything fine tuned. So I was on, and like I've mentioned this before in another video, but I was linking up with I was on Facebook. I was one of those people that I'm sure you've seen and you hate that's on Facebook and is like, they try to make their Facebook like their little artist page. I'm like, oh, hit me up for some work. Hit me up. I got some work for the artists out there and all that. And I was linking up with people, and it became apparent to me after some few months. Well, shouldn't say few months. It was a pretty, I would say maybe like 6 months. Let's say I was working at this for like 6 months, and it became more clear to me that a lot of these people were making like no money off what they were doing. It was going like nowhere for anybody. So I was like, okay, well, I enjoyed doing it. I like, getting some of those funky samples, being like, do, 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 or, whatever. But I was like, this isn't going to go anywhere for me. This is going nowhere. I got to figure out something else to do. So I kind of dropped the producing at that time. And I went and I just worked my job and whatever else I did. But then I came back to it, maybe it was like early 2013. And I had moved out. And if my boy Justin is out there, dude who I still talk to that, I used to be in Steam groups and shit with at the time. And I got a cat now. I had a fucking desk mic, like a $10 desk mic, And I was learning how to, I learned how to use auto-tune at the time. So basically I was just doing a bunch of stupid shit where I would just like make the most fucking retarded, stupid, worthless, dumb shit. This was on my original YouTube account though, where I had all my fucking, I had all my fake, this is before I made it into merchant-free media, which then got banned for hate speech. But, I had like these stupid fake World of Warcraft private server videos on there I was trying to pass off as real that had like 1 million views. But then I just decided to start uploading like random. I was like, yeah, it's your boy! Yeah, it's your boy! And like auto-tuning it so it went from like horribly ear melting to sounding unfortunately like a lot of shit I was hearing, you know. And that was all just jokes. And at the time though, that was also when I was singing R&B, because maybe I was a little bit younger, maybe I was a little more in shape still. This was after I was kind of coming out of my most fit phase, but I used to sing R&B, and once I was more into singing R&B, I actually sung a couple shows, actually, in my time, some R&B performances. But really, in like 2013, and like as that year went on, I had some problems with drinking. I was smoking a lot, and so my voice kind of started to take a little bit of a stronger tone to it. And I started singing country music instead. And that was actually when I decided to purchase the microphone that I still use to this day, because it was late 2013. I'm not even sure, I know for sure that I did not even have my desktop computer built yet at this time. But I just wanted to sing covers of George Jones songs and upload them to Vimeo, because my YouTube account was banned and I couldn't figure out how to make another one. Every time I tried to make another one, it would say like, oh, your account has previously been banned and you're not allowed to make a new account, which I've never had that problem since, but I did for a while, and it was really, really weird. So I was uploading, and shit might still be out there somewhere for all I know, but I was uploading covers of George Jones songs to Vimeo with this microphone. And let's see here, I guess that kind of went on for a little while, and then when I started doing the Eggman shit, I mean, I guess I hadn't even done any kind of rap, anything for a while, but I decided to make that Orders song, which is still on the First Last channel, just, you know, sitting in my fucking bedroom one day with my laptop. Wasn't even using my desktop, but that pretty much started getting me into being egg white, you know. I just totally came up with it off the top of my head that day. And, you know, I guess now, I don't consider any music that I've made to this point to be decent at all. I mean, I do everything myself, except there's been some production I do myself, and there's been some that I will get a beat off, like a beat pack off YouTube or whatever, where it's like, oh, 10 free beats, download now, whatever, if it sounds good. Or, you know, I've licensed beats from some people before, and so I just kind of, you know, but other than that, you know, I'm just recording on my microphone here in my basement, yeah, in the area you see before you. You know, I put on my fucking broken headphones and just, you know, write and put on some basic audio processing. I'm still far from a professional, obviously. And so everything still sounds pretty amateurish, but I don't really do it. I'm not really trying to, you know, that's not my main goal. I don't want to go tomorrow and be like the next big rap star or anything like that. You know, I don't know if that would be for me, but I just have fun with it. You know, I still just enjoy, you know, just kind of listening to some of that production. You know, I like some of those beats that I hear, and sometimes I just want to express myself in a musical way, you know what I mean? But, and as far as dancing goes, you know, like I said, that's all. I'm also quite amateurish at that, but I guess it just is what it is. You know, it's how I express myself. You know, I don't do what maybe some other people do, but you know, if I'm feeling a certain kind of way, sometimes I just want to get up and dance and kick my feet around like an idiot, and sometimes I just want to go in my fucking basement and write a rap song and do what I do. You know, hey, whatever. But I guess that's pretty much the story, my friends, of why the hell does Eggman, you know, how the hell did Eggman go from, you know, basically being, well, I guess I shouldn't say go, because I've been this same thing this whole time. But, you know, why is this, dweeb, you know, into rap music and dancing around so much like a wild maniac that he breaks his leg? And I guess that's about why. So, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. We're gonna start uploading. And I'm going to go get my surgery today, and I'm going to be off for a couple days, my friends. And I apologize for that hiatus in advance. I do have a special video that's going to be coming up tomorrow, though, that was edited for me by a good friend of mine. So do enjoy that. But until next time, my friends, much peace, much love to you, and I will see you next time.
Sounds from the void.